This is going to be a 5 versus 5, and it's going down on Plateau of Arracis. Now, quite often you'll see this map as a 7v7, but what these guys have done, which you'll see in a moment, is they have closed off the bottom, the side slots. There's often 2 spawns over here and 2 spawns up here. These guys have not done that this game around. They've done a 5 versus 5 going on the diagonal. It does mean these guys can just walk straight up here and grab as much mass as they want, which we shall see if they realize this and go straight ahead for it. And otherwise, we've got team 1 across here at the top and team 2 down here at the bottom. Let's say good day to these folks and see what they have in store for us. First off, team number 1 over here on the far left hand side in nice, not so subtle grey colour there, it is Apocrypha. And he's got Aeon opening first land with double adjacency in a strange position. Beside him, over here in the orange colour, it is Surfer. Surfer is also Aeon, but he's in the orange colour. Beside Surfer, we have Arctic for Polar. And Arctic for Polar is Cybran in a pale blue, and he's got the double adjacency for his land factory as well. Over here in what could be considered the air slot position, being at the back-ish, Cybran MSG. And MSG has his factory here, and he's working on his Hydra already. And down here, last flag for team number 2, it is Zoom. And Zoom is Seraphim, so no UEF representation for team number 1. We've got a pair of Aeons, a pair of Cybrans, and 1 Seraphim. Anyway, he's green because his factory there, working on his Hydra, as you do. Alright, just have a quick look there. There is some mass, only 20k spotted around the entire map, so it's not like it's a giant amount to fight over. Team number 2, let's have an introduction for these guys. First off, team number 2, down here on the bottom right hand side, it is Sodi. Sodi is white and is Cybran. Hopefully I get tired of saying that name. Besides Sodi, it is the Grey Eminence, who's already walking his commander up towards the front. He's UEF, first UEF of the day. Following up from there, we have in the yellow another UEF, it is Durunda. And Durunda, his comms also already going for walkies. Then following into the back air slot position, getting the Hydro adjacency with the land factory, it is Terrari, and he's Cybran in a lavender colour. He's also walking up somewhere. And finally, for team number 2 on the very far left hand side, is Jolinar. Seraphim. Pink. Alrighty, you'll know what this map's about. There is reclaim around. It's just kind of like all over the place. There's a bunch of smaller rocks to grab in the middle. These structures on the sides, they often get scooped up quite quickly. There's also a T2 unit there. There's a Riptide, which people tend to reclaim rather than capture. And then all this power here as well, which again, people just reclaim rather than capture, because capturing it up here is kind of dangerous. It is very much close at the front and tends to be insecure, so reclaim it, get the mass, put it into your own coffers, and you're pretty much away laughing. And speaking of, here comes Zoom. And Zoom is zooming his way to the front here. These buildings here, they don't have a lot of reclaim in them. They just have a little bit. But, you know, they're still buildings. They're still mass. It's still free. Just get what you can. And UEF buildings with the Seraphim com coming on in. Very, what's the word I'm looking for? I forget the word, but it's like not terrifying. I forget it anyway. That's fine. Right. Let's have a look at how things are going to go for the rest of the map. You can see people have been spreading out, except for Sodi. His comm is sitting determinedly in his base, and he's grabbing an air factory and still pumping out engineers from his land factory. Upgrades going down on 3 mass extractors at once. This one is just about to finish up to T2. Maybe think about doing what. So you only do this multiple at once if you're good on mass, which he really isn't. This is a bad idea. Get one upgrading and get engineers assisting it, and do them one by one rather than all at once. You only go all at once if you have surplus mass. He is minus 49. He's only got 9 income. And you see how long this is taking to go. He could pause these and this would go a lot faster. But he is determined to do these all at once. He can't even live off the reclaim, because there's not that much reclaim to have. And he's starting T2 on a factory when he's trying to go T2 when he hasn't even got any T2 mix. I don't know what this guy's thinking. Anyway, drop over here. That is Arctic for Polar wanting to claim this bottom section, and he's going to because there is virtually no resistance. There's no units, no anything radar being thrown down, and he's going to see that it's basically empty. So free real estate for him to grab on down there. We can see here Sodi is trying to get this reclaim up in this direction. He's getting the mass extract. He's been engineered with a factory reclaim order because they're more range to do so. And now he's getting raided. A Tham has just wandered right into his base and they're going to start killing NGs. Because they can. Because there's nothing to stop it. He could walk his commander over a few steps and take out the Tham, but instead it's going to sit there. There we go. Commander is on the move. And Tham's going to die, Scout's going to die, and that will be a few couple of kills for him. But still, he's offering no resistance on the ground. That could be a problem. Compare over the side, and you can see that Apocrypha has got himself a frontal factory with his commander. He's pushed right on out. More factories coming up over the place to build and give him some extra presence at the front. Got a drop here from Terraria, just throwing some engineers around the place to pick up reclaim by the look. Yes, indeedy. Hearing a bit of combat over this way, indeed there is an interceptor. It is going for a transport from MSG. The transport is on the way back, so I presume it's already dropped off its payload. Yep, just the transport wreck there to be done, so I'm guessing it did things like drop these engineers up here to grab those mass extractors. And then there is Surfer in the middle, just tickling away at a few units. Has to be careful because Eminence is there with his comm, and he's working on a T1 PD which will undoubtedly support him quite wholeheartedly in continuing to hold the front. You can see over here, well, exactly as expected. Oh, a couple of hundred. Okay, it was a T1 energy storage, but so extra bundles of mass to be had with no pressure whatsoever. And yeah, reclaim is the way to go. There were 100 there. Same thing going on over this way, although the units have been left alive. Maybe he wants to take them, capture them later. I'm sure. Normally they do get reclaimed though. As you can see over the side, it's exactly what Zoom has done. He's turned them into mass to put into his own little coffers over there. Right. In the middle, it is Grey Eminence. He's right up there with his comm and plenty of units. He has a reasonable hold, although he might be up against multiple enemies. However, on the left-hand side, we can see Yolana has got his comm way forward, and he's got units from Darunda in support over there. On the far left-hand side, it is Terrari, who's the air player. He's got his comm way up front. Looks like he was just going for a bit of a mass grab while he was trying to get his air sorted. T2 on the way for the Grey Eminence. He's got units out front being defensive, keeping that PED alive as he needs to. T1 deciding it didn't want it to be there. Grey Eminence deciding that he did want it to be there, so he pushes them back out of the way. I am hearing firing. Where is it? There it is. It's over here. That's a mass extractor getting plinked by a Mantis and a bunch of Thams. You can't defend when all you got is an engineer. I mean, you can try. You could really request that your opponents don't shoot, but I somehow think that's not going to happen. And now these units are just pushing on through, just killing off mass extractors that are in mid-upgrade. So he's determined to upgrade mass extractors when he doesn't have the mass to do so. And he's calling out for help when he's not building units. No, I don't think people do really. Don't think it's worth it, because these are neutral walls, so you can't actually fire through them. So yeah, these could be perhaps, the walls are lower, they could be used for that exact kind of thing, but not so much. And here we go, we see Grey Eminence is coming over to help out Sodi, who is doubly working on a T2 power generator here. Finally gets his 4th T2 mass extractor in his base up. So he's going hard eco, which is a very, very strange decision considering he's on the front line on the right. We'll see how that works out from a bit later. Alright, over this direction we can see it is Darunda and Yolana in the area. There's some T2 PD going up from Darunda as well as some buzzkills, so maybe a bit of concern about some tech missiles. Don't really see anything, but that's alright. Better to be safe than dead in this game. Let's see again. So speaking of these civilian things, people do capture the trucks. I've captured the trucks instead of reclaim. So you reclaim them, you get 120. Okay, 120. That is worth a reclaim. That's worth a reclaim. Okay, the midsection. Eminence has finished up his T2 and he's starting with the PD creep. That's going to be difficult for him to trick on, but on the other side, Arctopolo's done exactly the same thing. He's going to come here, he's starting to put down some service turrets, throwing us some radar. He's to see what he's shooting at. And Yeah, if you could get a bit of advantage here off the upper plateau. Down here, plenty of fighting going on, and that is the units from Eminence. They are done for. Much larger force compared to what's over here, and oh, T1 Energy is trying to rebuild the mass extractor. Okay, he's going for res on a single T2. Wow. All I've got to say is wow. And here comes the army from Polar. Now, I don't mean to be rude. I really don't, but... Oh, you 1K. He's gone hard eco. He's got no ground units. He's got no combat units anywhere. His entire capacity is right here with his comm, trying to get res. His power's going to go pop. It's going to extend his res out even further. And this power's going to go down. And there's commanders just sitting there. They could kill him right now. Instead, they'd rather wreck his eco. They'd rather leave him there, trying to get his res on, kill off his eco, and just make him pretty much redundant. T1 artillery over here as well. They can start having to go with the F. He started the T3 upgrade on his air factory while his base is getting shot to ruins. And he's still producing engineers out of this factory. I don't even know where to start with describing this decision. Some units are coming over from Dorinda, but I feel like maybe they want to rethink that and just hang back and help defend this section, because that's just, I don't even know. Well, we're going to leave him there for the moment. He's got to be carried to 1K. This direction, the Surfer has himself. He's got the range upgrade as well as the sensor upgrade. Something to just be able to see and shoot at a nice long distance. They decided to focus down. No. They're leaving Sodi there. 1K Astra maybe? Yeah. That would probably make sense. Knows how to play Astra, and that's really about it, but his base is absolutely in tatters, and even if he dies now, he has no eco for a full share to transfer over to somebody else. He has just been wrecked, and we're just going to focus somewhere else for a little bit. Like the middle. Alright, we can see here that Grey Eminence is throwing up shield gen. He is concerned about something coming in. There's been some damage to his triads by the look of it. Mobile missiles, and some triads play fuck the ground a little bit, but they also play fuck the Mantis. The Mantis died a very exploded death. It's a dead man. And still those a couple of tech launchers here, Evensongs are lobbing the missiles in. If they keep on coming in one by one, the Buzzkill can control that mostly. There's a second Buzzkill going up, he'll be fine. Up this direction, a sizable army is staging up for Procritor, and he's got a fair number there, but there are some T2 PD up on the ridge here. The question is, how well will they do with mobile units? We know that Seraphim PD isn't terribly good at its directional fire. Trying to hit things in motion on a sideways angle is not good for his health. Okay, up here we can back down this direction. A few Oshivas have been romping through the realm of T1, knocking things off, and he's persisting with the T3 upgrade as an air factory while trying to get Raz on his comm, while he has no eco. And it would appear that Dorinda is just taking his eco. Does he really intend to stand there for 40 minutes trying to get Raz on his comm while everything around him explodes? No, he cancels his Raz finally. Let's move away from that guy and focus on the raid that's coming through. This is from Zoom. He's used his Oshivas that have been able to sneak on through the midsection, and they are ramping on these units. They got good vision or something. Not quite. They can see almost as far as they can shoot, but there is that little band where they cannot. And that's an important little band, but they are just romping on through. They're going to be threatening eco very, very shortly. There's a T2 mass extractor here, T2 max mix there, they're not going to have a very good time. And that is just free eco kills there. They can keep wandering through, although point defense is going up from Yelenar. He doesn't want them to get any closer. And I see T3 air, so Terrari got himself into T3 air game, which is very, very handy for team number 2, and yet T3 air as well for MSG, so very even on the air front at this stage. That is good. But this is Sodi just walking out to his death. And that is actually a control K. He wants to take as many units as possible with him, and we're about to find out if it's actually full share or not in a second. I don't know if he's going to finish that off. He does, and it goes over to Terrari, so it's full share, but there's not really that much to share. Problem starting then, these units can now come on up. MSG comes through with a few ASFs. I'm not sure what he's looking for. Maybe he was planning to try and take up these T1 bombers, because those T1 bombers need to kill the raid that is currently happening in Darunda's base. Many units all over the place. And this is just terrible, although some whalers have come out from Terrari, and those are going to be incredibly handy at cleaning those up. Okay, sorry. These units actually belong to Yelenar, so he has chased those Ilshvas down and is assisting in trying to keep as much alive as possible. Ilshvas did manage to kill off one central mass extractor, fortunately just the one, but they did kill off a bunch of power. Not so great, but it seems to be okay up this direction. All the way in the top left it is Yelenar, and he is putting up a little fire base here, which will be quite useful. You can take out quite a bit. What's the range of that T2RD? Well, it's pretty good if you ask me. But where's the radar? Where's the scout? He needs a radar. He has no idea any of this is here. Or if he does, he's forgotten about it. We see there's a radar down here from Darunda, but he needs his own. Hello, tech launchers. Is that going to be a tech snipe attempt? Looks like he's got a third one planned, so it could very well be. Keep an eye on that for a little bit. There's a tech launcher here for just the one though. Okay. So this bottom right corner, and here comes the pressure. It is all the factories, although whalers are coming back to say g'day, and there is some point defense here which will certainly rout all of that coming along, and the whalers now going to kill off basically everything here. They'll just take the time, pick off all the factories. There's some ASFs coming loitering around from Terrari, so if MSG decides to send his in, the whalers should be okay for a while to keep that going. T1 AA pops out of the factory. Going to take a very long time to kill whalers. They have a generous amount of hit points, and of course they're very good at killing things on the ground, although a interceptor comes out. But the whalers do have anti-air of their own, and the ASFs are also in the region to help keep things under control, so that will help free up that bottom right section. Still way up the front is Eminence, and I think maybe he wants to consider not being all the way up there, because behind him is Polar, and he could easily build up some units like he's doing here, swing in behind and start causing issues, especially with those lovely Vipers. But missile launchers are a pain in the neck for T2 bases unless you already have a group of established T2RD. They will outrange any other T2 defense, which causes problems. Where the whalers gone? They changed their mind, or they changed their mind. They decided to start going for other stuff like the T3 factory. So Zun has not been idle himself. He's got a pair of T3 factories there, and oh, there's his comm. His comm is way up front. Doesn't want to be there, and Terrari actually recalls ASFs. The whalers are dead. No point leaving them out there now. They're just basically done. Sodi trash talking. Well, at least Sodi's admitting he's stupid. I'm not sure what his thought was. I'm guessing he was thinking about trying to eco up, but when you leave yourself with 0 defenses, you're just asking to be overrun, which is what happened. Okay, got a drop coming over from Apocryta. Maybe he's heading down towards the bottom left. No, he's just heading down. Yes, he is. Got a drop order there. Maybe want to get some of that reclaim that's left. Not a heck of a lot of it, but is what it is. A small band of forces here, and we've got some point defense here, which is happily playing fuck the ground. Bit like that, don't you? Plenty of ground to be shot. A few mech marines loitering around with some T1 units just to really help things out. There's a bunch of scorchers here ready to respond to anything, I guess, but they're only T1, so they go anywhere near flak, they are doomed, especially if that flak gets under a shield generator. MSG says don't have air. He says he doesn't have air, so he thinks he's lost it, and I'm inclined to agree. Actually, let's have a quick look at the numbers. 22 versus 9. Yep, so at the moment Terrari has double the air of MSG. Still working off the one air factory, getting some reclaim going on though, so it looks like he's setting up for an air grid like this. You can see the power is a go. In the meantime, yep, another grid sort of thing there. So Cyber and Air, the question is, do you go for one factory with a ton of assistance, or do you do multiple factories? Here is the question. Over the side, and it is, there we go, the tech, oh no, that was turning into radar, not tech launches. And I thought for a moment that was his comp, but that's a support commander. So Yelena, rocking out with the support comm, saying hello to all these units down here, and maybe he wants to think about not. It's not a Rambo comp, it's not a combat commander, it's just a support commander, and probably more useful for as build power than as combat power. Okay, in the middle of this, yep, section of the fire base that was built up by Eminence is just doomed. Getting hammered by T2ID from somewhere, I think. Oh no, there's a shield disruptor. A shield disruptor thing. And then some sniper boss coming in. The mobile missile launchers here from Arctic for Polar, also wrecking the rest of the base. And you should be healthy and happy back at home. Or maybe down here. The Eminence is over here. He's just built up a token point of defense here, which really won't last long if these decide to push on down. At the moment, they're distracted with taking out this central area, which, with the push coming in from Surfer, won't take very long at all. Focus down the PD and we shall have a good time. Yeah, so these disruptors. Shield disruptor, and they're very good. That's right, they don't do a lot of damage to actual units, but taking down shields they are incredibly efficient at, so yeah, gotta watch that. Alright, army building up down here on the bottom right, and Zoom's building experimental. We have it. So first experiment of the day is the Athota, and it is walking on down. The question is, what do they have to counter it? Well, I see a Fat Boy. Fat Boy's not a great counter to a Athota, and this can stay at range. And I think that's the only experimental they got. All this would be pretty much destroyed. Well, okay, all of this would be destroyed if that Athota decides to walk down that way. But we also got to talk about the massive wall of orange coming down from Surfer. Plenty of units here to say good day. And you can sort of see just exactly what. 5 damage. The shield disruptor does 5 damage to units. That was a ton to shields, but only 5 to units. And Eminence is once again forced to fall back, thanks to Viper Spam under some stealth. Not going to be good. Over the side, the support commanders has been joined by another one. It's been joined by a combat one. So it's got a gun upgrade. No, it's just got sensor upgrade. There we go. And they're starting to shoot, but they're walking into T1 PD, and this is all under shields, which is not good for your health. These guys are not have a good time trying to do what they're doing. Walking into an army and walking into point defense. There's a third one coming up as well, but that's just not good for them. They're going to have a terrible time trying to defend that. In the middle, there we go. This army is having to go at each other. The eco up here that Terrari had, that's going to go down. Plenty of T1 RC bombing that. It won't last very much longer at all. Okay, we also have a attack launcher down here from Zoom, and he's looking to try and pick off any kind of eco he can. So if there's you have a T2 mix, we'll attack it. And the other question is, where is the chicken? Where is the chicken? What's that? There it is. So that chicken is also nearing the front. How's the Fat Boy? Because they're going to need that. Well, it's just about done, and they're absolutely going to need that to try and fend off all of this. Look, I don't know why they haven't rushed already. Look at this. Whole host of siege tanks, bunch of Ushvas, many flak, load of shields. This here, even without the chicken, could have just swarmed over all of this in a heartbeat. It's like 2 T2 PD, and that's really about it. But now, the Fat Boy is done, and do they have this on their radar? Well, yes they do. And they can see the chicken as well. They should be aware that that is on the way. So yellow coming on in, and it's now got those very powerful T3 mobile shields with it. They are quite tough nuts to crack. They can have a huge amount of extra defense on that thing, and Fat Boy maybe wants to stop moving forwards. Let's range on that. Okay, Mouse can probably move a little bit closer, start picking up those, and wants to be able to hit over this little ridge here. That would be absolutely ideal for stomping on whatever comes up. But here comes Yothota, and here come the mobile missile launchers as well. So Arctic Polar pushing up with mobile missile launchers even as the chicken is coming on it, and here comes the Fat Boy fire. And yeah, Fat Boy needs to stop and think about turning around. Black all up behind the chickens. Those T1 bombs get like maybe one pass. One pass they go, the bombs are away, but the flak then lights them up and they're going to die a horrible death. Strats coming over that will make a difference. Strat bomb from Terrari, and yep, they have done a ton of damage to that Yothota. Fat Boy is falling back, but the strats have done enough to make the Yothota think twice about trying to push that, and it definitely turns around to be on the running away style of combat. Let's see what else we've got. We've got the orange push has swarmed over this little base here. That is done for as well, between the T1 Arty and the mobile missile launchers, plus the blazes and everything's just all done for. This direction, small clean out there. There was a small fire base, but it is now gone. This section is looking pretty healthy though. There's still a bunch of T3 support commanders getting upgrades, so maybe they are looking for to be more combat preset. Support commanders all over the place. Yolana is going full on SACU rush. Not many, all those units are up there, but it all looks like it's all focusing on this right now. Interesting times. Alright, up this direction, Fat Boy remains unchallenged, is killing off all sorts of stuff at long range. Hello mobile missile launchers. You just love some Fat Boy fire, wouldn't you? Well, there's a couple of lightning tanks sitting around twiddling their thumbs and twiddling them in the form of death. See this start lighting up in this direction. I have a bunch of units. I like to sit still and get bombarded with air and effect weapons. Devastation. Oh, look at them all die. You don't see it. Unless they're your units, then you hate to see it. Strat bombers, and what are they going for? That is a lot of strats. Have they looking for something? They are. They have picked a target. And I think this is a snipe, is indeed. Apocryta is sitting here with his comm. He's trying to get a GC up, but the strats are coming, and MSG scrambles his ASS, but they run straight into the wing belonging to Terrari, and this is a little bit too late from MSG, and way more ASS belonging to Terrari, and that is a solid air when strats are going for a second target. That second target is Surfer. And he's taking a bunch of damage. There is some anti-air somewhere, some SAMs up this direction. Surfer survives. Strats have changed targets and they are actually going... Oh, they're going with a nuke. Stop the nuke launcher. That is a great idea, but there's now a bunch of SAMs out there for MSG. The shield is very much alive. He could switch up to... Oh, he's building another shield really quickly, and that's going to finish up just in the next time. The strats are coming back. They depleted this shield. The bombs are coming on down, and they kill off one shield gem but nothing else, and the nuke launcher survives. It is full share. Over this direction we can see that that's all been handed over to MSG, and he's now trying to fight on air and the left hand front. Maybe not so useful. Maybe wants to reconsider that option. Down this direction, Fat Boy is the sole defense on this side, but it's doing enough of a defense, keeping things at bay. But there is the T2 Arty spam, the answer to Fat Boy's T2 Arty, and the Fat Boy's going to have to fall back. It cannot stay in range of that and expect to live, especially with the Yothota nearby, and it definitely wants to come back and try and deal with this. Siege tanks pushing up through the middle, they're killing off a bunch of eco there. There's a dead mass extractor there, dead factories. Having a grand old time, but they're getting bombarded by a swarm of T1 bombers, and some support commanders also having a go at them, but the T1 bombers are going to be able to chase them down. Support commanders are standing still. Back up this direction, just have a quick look, and the nuke did survive. And it is loading fast since it hasn't died. Have we seen a response? Well, yes, we have. Here we go. SMD being absolutely rush built by everybody. Trying to get it loaded. I'm sure once it is, they'll be very happy with that app. And knowing the nuke is there, I'm pretty sure he's chucked all his echo into that, and you can see, yep, everything going into loading that SMD. Now the orange army is once again pushing up in this direction, though, oh, sniper bots, yep. I have a grand old time in this direction though. The pink swarm from Yelena, support commanders having to go at everything that comes their way. Some siege tanks in support as well. And these guys can, well, they can reclaim, they can just start building wherever they want. That's the good thing about support commanders, they can do that. Alright. But looking very much on the side of team number 1. They control this corner, they control that corner, they control all the middle. Very much have most of the map under their control, and definitely have the eco. They are looking about 300 mass per tick more in team number 2, so very much on the top side of things right now. How's that nuke? Well, it is just about loaded, and it looks like it's planning to launch right away. It has the nuking scenery under it. The question is what is going to go for, because that's loaded. It's more than loaded. That is like 25% towards the next defensive missile loaded. And that's a T3 arty. So Terrari, like he's wanting to try and crack things with a T3 artillery installation. The nuke is out. The question is where's it going? We can see this thing. And let's just let's have a nuke days. Follow the nuke. Follow the nuke. Follow the nuke. There's some fighting going on up the top left, some fighting going on in the middle from the Fat Boy, which is out of shields. The nuke soars over the Fat Boy, right over the Fat Boy, and looks like it is going to land right down on the Grey Eminence, whose comm has not moved. And the Grey Eminence, not only is he dead, but his base is gone as well, so all that eco. Oh dear. So MSG was well aware of this SMD that was keeping things safe. A nuke launcher being put up by Dorinda. I think he'd rather consider a nuke defense. Let's just have a look at yeah, you could edge nuke that right there. Right there. You can drop a nuke right there and it will take that out quite happily every day. So maybe Dorinda wants to think about an SMD at this point. Alright, over this direction, and extra defense have gone up over this way. Plenty of T1 PD and plenty of engineers in the works. There's still that chicken loitering around, but so too is the Fat Boy. Fat Boy does have himself rank of veterancy. It's looking very healthy indeed. Up this direction, and Yolana has claimed out this top area. He's got a bunch of SAMs up here with this SACU. These guys, they're just regular support ACUs. They're not combat orientated or anything, but they are cleaning up at the moment. They're being very hard to stop without T3. And of course these ID shells coming up this way as well. I hear the chicken, I see the chicken, and it is making a mess of this T1 PD. Basically free veterancy for that thing. Along come the T1 bombers, dump their payload, but there's so much flak behind that chicken. Not getting much done. The Fat Boy though, sitting over the edge, lobbing its shells, and you can't even see it, but you can see the shells. Chicken has fallen back in the face of that. See the shells are coming out from behind. You can see the shield moving that the Fat Boy's in, kicking over the edge right there. And chicken is in full retreat whilst Fat Boy cleans up the rest of the units. Not much on the ground to threaten it, and in fact it's going to do a good amount of damage with those guns. 224 kills, 2 ranks of veterancy. That is one effective Fat Boy. Has been utilised very, very well. An experimental was done up here somewhere. There we go. It's a GC completed by Surfer. There's also a GC over here from MSG. He completed that and he is chasing down those support commanders. Yeah, they might be tough, but they're not GC tough. And they're going to have a real bad time with that. Okay. The T3 RD is done though. Look at those shells coming on over. And have they started hitting anything? The answer is no. SMD is being sped on by MSG, but I think that's not quite what he needs. He needs to keep us alive. Nuke launcher, 130 health. Never mind. No health. As the T3RD does its job, it gets through. Is this really just the one? It's really just the one, and it has made tatters of MSG's base. The air grid is gone. The nuke launcher is gone. He has a loaded SMD, but I don't think he needs to worry about that because I don't think they've got a nuke on Team 2. But this has been a great equalizer, taking out so much of the eco there. And what can MSG do from this point? Well, that is a very good question. He's still got a couple of T3 PGs up there, but his eco is getting absolutely hammered. In the middle, this is coming through from Yolana, sending up a bunch of units and some support commanders. Not really sure what they're doing. And you've got to love it when a T3 shell misses the map. You can see the yellow dot there falling forever downwards and just keeps on going. Starting laser. That is usually a desperation losing tactic, and might very well be. I don't know where his comm is. It's right there. Here, there we go, the chicken is doing chicken things, and now the fat boy has gotten a wee bit too excited. 3 ranks of veterancy, and it's running for its life as it needs to. It is down, very, very hurt. Chicken can probably catch up to it, won't be too far away. As soon as it sees their fat boy is dead, no, turns away again. They have no idea how close it was. So close to catching that thing. Along comes some more bombers. And this time T2 Bombers Corsa is coming out from Terrari. It's going to put some extra punch into the air attack on the chicken. Not quite enough, it's still alive. A couple of thousand health, and the flak has taken care of the rest of the air. And that chicken can run, baby, run. Right, what is dying? That's this up here. There's a double GC threat on the top side. Some point points and some units, but not enough to slow this down. They're going to be able to just ran on through, although there is a defending chicken here from Yolana, currently having a rousing round to fuck the ground. Look at that. I just love it. The best defense in the game, terrain. Okay, he's definitely trying, but it is getting nowhere. That another nuke was out. That was from Darunda. And where's this one headed? It looks like it's going up here, and that could be a very problem, although nope, that's not loaded. SMD is in place, but not loaded for Surfer, and his base is going to go pop. Surfer's all the way over there with his GOM. We're going to see a mass explosion there, and that's going to be all she wrote for his section. So, revenge nuke, you could say. And here we go, Chicken versus GC, and Chicken actually can win these if it gets close enough and pops out all of his firepower. It has a tremendous amount of damage output, which it has, but GCs have a lot more health. And now it's up to air to take out the GC. Nothing on the ground is going to stop it. There's a couple of point things has been thrown up, but they're not going to get much done. What was that? Oh, teleporter's on the way for Arctic Polar. He has the laser. Now I just need to get the teleport, and he can have a grand old time doing that. Bat Boy survived, and it's just about regened up a ball. Happily, the support commanders down here are experiencing Galactic Colossus issues. GC needs to keep walking, can't stand still at range from the T2PD. Needs to get a lot closer, more air comes in, and another chicken coming out from Yolana, so that should be the end of that GC. Just simply does not have enough to take care of everything. And of course more core CS as well, so this has been... Team 2 is still behind in eco. They're still behind in mass, despite all of this. They're still behind in mass, owing to this whole right hand side that is under control, but the T3RT really is doing things, and hello! Support commanders just sitting there going, I don't give a fuck. Ordered straight into the secondary position that MSG inherited, and have taken out the nuke defense, and now that they've taken out the shields, they can start taking out everything else. I don't know, maybe we want to focus on like the power? They could. Maybe the shield gen, that the T3RT does work. But either way, they've fallen back in the face of this T2 defense spam. And there indeed does go down the shield. That is going to leave this place wide open for T3RT shells to land on their heads. Speaking of T3RT, there's a mobile one just there. Good evening, Boxer. How are we doing? Ah, there we go. Surfer has been found, and he's playing dodgems with a bunch of Corsairs, and no anti-air anywhere near him to help out. Then again, he doesn't have much of a base left, so dodging is all he can basically do. There's so many Corsairs. You don't live through that for very long. Dodging or not is very difficult, and they come from all sorts of different angles. But we'll say goodbye, Surfer. Nice to see ya. To see ya. Nice. Right, Fat Boy down here is lobbing at shells at a group of units. Is there shields under there? They seem to have gotten away mostly unscathed except for this poor T3RD. Where's that chicken? Back here. Ready to die. The chicken being built. And of course that whole host of T2 artillery keeping that thing at bay. Many defences down here now. Has there been an additional... Actually, they don't even need to worry about an SMD now, do they? Because nobody over here has a nuke. T3RD is going for MSG, who has... Oh, he has stealth and he has laser. Just stealth, not cloak. So it can be seen visibly, but that's all. Plenty of early defense, though I don't think they're really going to teleport now. That'd be a silly idea for team number 2, sorry. They have the upper hand, I'd say. They have the units on the ground. Right now it is going to be up to Zoom to use all of this and try and get something done. I'm hearing another chicken somewhere. I heard another chicken, that one. There it is. Walking up from Yelena. There's not much there to stop him. Alright. Arctic for Polar is prepping his tele. And where's he going to go? There we go. The teleport is on. See if we can find it. Not seeing teleport. Oh, there it is. There it is, and it is right beside Darunda. Is Darunda paying attention? I don't think he is. This teleport is going to go off, and Darunda's going to die, as well as his nuke launcher. Yep, we're just about done. Any second now, we are going to see pain. Just gonna watch this. Run away. Preemptive firing from Terrari, and all he does is kill someone to run to stuff. Ooh, the teleport was cancelled. Took a wee bit too long, so I think the Polo decides not to teleport there. He's gonna go somewhere else. He is going somewhere else, and the question is where this time. And this is Zoom has been spotted by the T3 artillery. It's trying to ping him, so he's having to dodge and twist and turn to not get hit by that. Where is the tele now? I'm guessing it was there for a moment. There's all the T2PDs firing at it, but nothing's happening now. He keeps teasing us with the teleport, but never actually using it. Nope, still not using it. Could go somewhere sometime, but look at this. Zoom has been hit by the T3RD so many times, and he is just about out. He's going to go to give a handshake to Arctic for Polo, who probably doesn't want him to do that, because if he dies, some extra damage can afford to happen. And where is T3RD? There's around, so close. Shields. Go run to shields. Somewhere, anywhere. There's 2 T3RDs now. There's the chicken also walking his way across the top. And I think we are about to see... Oh, that's very close. Zoom finally goes down. Gets caught just on the wrong turn, trying to dodge the T3RD, gets nowhere. And it's now up to, well, Arctic for Polar and MSG to stop this with nothing. Are they going for a double teleport? Maybe they are. The question is, will MSG even get to do it? He's just about finished the tele, and he's got a chicken bearing down upon him. He hasn't started this tele just yet, and neither has Arctic for Polar. They're both just sitting there. They both got teleport capability, and they both have Mazerscom. There we go. 1 tele, 2 tele. Where are they going, tele? Well, one guy's going over here, and not anymore. Arctic Polar has control K'd out. MSG doesn't make it. He had a teleport lined up, but nope. Just a little too aware.